the past 2 nights, the Bay Area has gotten a taste of this year's baseball season. The A's and Giants have played the first 2 games of their annual Bay Bridge Exhibition Series. Each squad is starting to take shape, and both teams are eager for their summer journey to begin. Today, the scene shifts to Oakland for the final tune-up before opening night. Bob Melvin and the Athletics have a new look and will look to rebound in 2016. It's day baseball from the Coliseum. A's Giants, and it starts right now. It's a beautiful day for baseball in Oakland. Final tune-up for the A's as they get ready for this 2016 season. Exhibition baseball from the Coliseum. It's the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants. You'll see it right here on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Another season of A's Baseball, along with Ray Fosse. I'm Glenn Kuiper. Monday night, Sonny Gray will take the hill. We all know how good he is, a Cy Young candidate. But, Ray, I think maybe the biggest factor as far as how good the A's are this year is what happens after Sonny Gray when it comes to the rotation. They have a chance to be good, but there's also some question marks.
And it's going to start Tuesday with Rich Hill. Of course, Sonny Gray will get the opening night start against the White Sox. But Rich Hill signed a free agent contract where the A's are guaranteed to be in the rotation. So he's going to follow Sonny Gray. He had a bad spring. He knows that, but he's pitching better. I think the keys are going to be Bassett and Graveman. We're going to see Dubron today, but these 2 guys we saw in San Francisco pitched extremely well with a good sinking fastball. And Kuip, you know as well as anybody, if you have a good sinker, it takes the bat head off the ball. They beat the ball on the ground. You get the good defense behind them. They're going to pitch well. Sinkers have been working, have good fastballs. I think they're going to be very good.
Now, Ray, you mentioned Felix Dubron. Most people thought Jesse Hahn was going to be the 5th guy, but he struggled. Dubron steps in, and he is going to be the 5th starter, and we'll see how he does getting ready for the rest of the season in this start today.
And I think we're going to see Jesse Hahn sooner than later, but in spring training, Jesse's sinker was not sinking. Everything straightened out. So Felix Dubron, who had the experience of starting last year as well as being in the bullpen, and the one thing it does do is allow probably Ryan Dull to be in the bullpen, who did an exceptional job for the A's last year in September, had a great spring, so it seems like everything's really working out.
All right, so Felix Dubron will pitch for the Athletics. The veteran Matt Cain will pitch for the Giants, and it is the final of the annual Bay Bridge Series. Exhibition baseball is coming up. It's the A's, it's the Giants. We'll have lineups and first pitch right after this.
on CSN California is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Taste the all-new Double Jack Burger today, only at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota. It's the final days to save on every Toyota during Toyota's One for Everyone sales event. Event ends Monday.
Well, just as we come back, the A's take the field wearing the green tops. Final tune-up as the A's are getting themselves ready for the home opener on Monday night against the White Sox. Giants doing the same. They will open up in Milwaukee. So this is the kind of day where it's a beautiful day for a ball game, but I think the players would be glad when this game is over, because then all those exhibition games can be put behind you and they can get to thinking serious about the regular season. This is the lineup for the San Francisco Giants today. Denard Span, Joe Panik, Hunter Pence, Brandon Belt, Matt Duffy, Brandon Crawford will DH, then Pagan, Brown, and Tomlinson.
Phoenix Devon acquired by the Athletics July 31st last year. He did make 8 starts, as we detailed a little bit in our open. 11 appearances. So he pitched out of the bullpen. He started, so he's very familiar in this role moving into the rotation for the Athletics. Good stuff, and it's nice to have someone that can go to the bullpen, pitch out of the rotation, be kind of a spot starter. But right now he starts as the 5th starter for the Athletics. Jesse Hyde in AAA, but all things point out to be very good for the A's when it comes to the rotation. Bullpen's been improved dramatically from last year, and from that standpoint should be okay.
Defense for the A's has Chris Davis at left, Billy Burns in center, Josh Reddick in right. Then it's Valencia and Simeon on the left side of the diamond, Lowry and Alonso. That's Yonder Alonso, the new first baseman for the A's. And Stephen Vogt will do the catching. Vogt throws it down, and we are just about set for baseball. It is a gorgeous day. It's still kind of that cool spring weather, but the sun is out. The field looks absolutely terrific. So we're excited about today, even more so we are excited about Monday night when the White Sox are in town for the opener.
After leaving Arizona and getting back to this Bay Area and kind of getting refreshed with the cooler air, started to get warm in the Phoenix area, Mesa, where the A's train. But this is a beautiful stadium. The field is magnificent. Clay Wood has done a great job, and should be great.
Umpires Anthony Johnson, Bill Miller, Mike Malinsky, and Ryan Buckney. First pitch of the game to Denard Span is a little bit low. Well, I was in spring training for a little while. You were down there obviously the whole time. And a lot of people said it was really a very hot spring training, and there was not any rain to be found.
And everybody you talked to said the allergies are horrible. So
get me out of there.
Get back here, and cool weather in the Bay, and everything's nice.
2-0 to Denard Span, the new center fielder and leadoff hitter for San Francisco. It's always interesting, this final game of the exhibition season, and wouldn't be surprised if we see it today. But all the starters are in there for the most part, but it may be a 1 or 2 at-bat game for the starters, and then they will be out of there. Inside, almost hit Span. He spins out of the way. 3-1.
I think we all know that Mickey Morabito, director of team travel for the A's, the best in the business. He had a chore to put everybody on the plane to get them back from Phoenix in spring training for the Bay Bridge series. And of course they'll get down to 25 by tomorrow, and maybe even late tonight, because there are 3 games tomorrow, which means the rosters have to be set.
3-1 to Span. Pops it up. Simeon, the shortstop. Shade into the outfield grass. He has it, and that is out number 1. I believe it's 9 a.m. Pacific time where you have to have your roster set. That's what I saw today. Tomorrow. Yeah. Did I say today? I meant tomorrow.
No, but I thought
Sunday
tonight.
morning.
Sometimes it's the night before, but at 9 a.m. Pacific.
And I don't know that there's any decisions that either of these two teams need to make. And most of the time, teams have their 25 guys set before that final weekend before the season starts, and that is the case with these two teams.
The most interesting last year this time was Billy Burns brought his suitcases to the park for the final game, figuring he's going to AAA, and the skipper said, "You're staying." Oh, great. So it's nice to at least anticipate, but not be overly confident. But Billy Burns is kind of a fixture now in center field. A tremendous rookie season for him. Crowded dugout because of the players brought in from the minor leagues.
And two, this weekend, Matt Chapman made a lot of noise, and maybe we'll see him a little bit today. Something else that comes into play, which you don't really think about because it has nothing to do with baseball, but these guys are all getting back to the Bay Area and places to live, and there's really not a lot of time to get acclimated to places where they're all going to stay. Both teams have to go through that.
Some of the guys were working on living accommodations during the fan fest and the corporate luncheon that players were brought back.
Roll toward Lowry. Scoops, throws, 2 outs. Jed Lowry, it's just like he never left.
Except that he's on the other side of the infield. So he played shortstop for a couple of years when he was here, but second base now. Played third with Houston.
So with 2 outs, Hunter Penn steps in.
To your point about the lineup, one of the requirements now in the collective bargaining agreement is to have an off day before either the last weekend or the day before you open, and both clubs will have tomorrow off. So, you know, in the past, the relievers would not pitch, especially the final exhibition game. But with tomorrow off, we may see some guys who might be available, although several of those guys pitched in San Francisco already, so they may get the complete day off. But so many new players on the A's club. This is great for them to be able to not only play the night games in San Francisco in Major League Park, but to come here and get familiar with their home park.
And tomorrow you probably spend a lot of the day unpacking boxes. Giants will have a morning flight to Milwaukee.
And the White Sox will be working out here getting ready for Monday night.
3-0 to Hunter Pence. Swing and a miss. Chased a fastball up and away.
Green light on 3-0, and he was swinging. Good location, a pitch away from the right-hander who was swinging aggressively.
Close pitch, a bit outside, 2-out walk. No, Dubront today figures to throw right around 80 pitches. And he is set up to pitch Friday in Seattle, and that'll be against Taiwan Walker in what'll be game 1 of that 3-game series.
And the home opener for the Mariners, the A's will get Felix Hernandez over the weekend. They will not miss him in the 6 trips, or 6 times they see the Mariners this year. 3 here and 3 up in Seattle.
Belt with a shot headed for the right field corner, but just a bit foul. So 4 against the White Sox Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then 3 in Seattle. And then right back home. So the first couple weeks for the A's, they will spend a lot of time at home. But we always enjoy our trips to Seattle. Even though you do have to face Felix Hernandez. Hit pretty well to left field. Davis going back near the warning track, reaches up, makes the catch, side retired. So the A's come to bat against Matt Cain when we return. No score after half an inning. Northern California. The lineup for the Athletics is Billy Burns in center, Jed Lowry at second, then Reddick, Valencia, Vogt, heart of the order. Billy Butler hits sixth. Chris Davis, the new left fielder. Yonder Alonso, the new first baseman, and Marcus Semien will hit ninth.
And many times you'd be looking at Matt Cain as a #1 starter, #2 maybe, but now recovering from some serious injuries. They made just a few starts last year, only won a couple of games, but for Matt Cain, spring training, if he's healthy, he's good, as he's already pitched a perfect game in his career, which that in itself is very impressive.
So he'll face Burns, Lowry, and Reddick here in the bottom of the first inning. Duffy in. First pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Well, for everybody else, as we said in the top of the inning, Ray, it's kind of a let's get this day over. I think this may be an important start for Matt Cain. He's,
I agree,
as you said, had a lot of injuries. He had a cyst removed about a month ago, and he's a little bit behind the other starters, but not far enough behind where he won't be able to make his first start. But he's gone through quite a bit the last couple of years. I have the feeling he's just looking at today a little bit different than a lot of the other guys on the field.
Absolutely. There are times that, in case of maybe some off days, that a fifth starter would be kept back in Arizona to continue to get his work, and of course great weather.
Yeah.
But I guess in Milwaukee they have a roof, right? Because there is some
bad weather there.
Forecast back in the Midwest, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, back on the East Coast, a lot of snow. And here we are on a beautiful day in the Bay Area.
2-2 the count to Burns. Make it 3-2, excuse me. Outfield shallow.
Ah, the drummers.
They're back. Ball. Little flare towards shallow left, and it's caught by the shortstop, Kelby Tomlinson. Nice running play. So one away. He caught it right in front of the left fielder, Angel Pagan. Expands in center, fence and right. Duffy, Tomlinson, Panic, and Belt, with Trevor Brown doing the catching.
Mr. Posey started the first 2 games behind the plate. Gets this afternoon off and tomorrow to travel.
Ted Posey's a little under the weather. He's not even hearing. That's the flu, so I'd stay home too.
I would too.
Fastball, a strike on the outside corner. Looked a little outside. Jed Lowry thought it was outside as well. He's behind in the count, 0-1.
Good to have Lowry back. He is a very versatile. Of course, he can play short and second, even third, but a very good hitter. And when he signed with the Astros, his hometown, for 3 years, probably never thought he'd be coming back to Oakland, but he had some huge hits against the A's last year as a member of the Astros, and especially with 2 strikes as he sits right now.
Right back to Cain, who grabs it, flips to first, and that's out #2.
I would assume Matt Cain played in the AT&T golf tournament, right? He's an excellent golfer.
He did, yeah.
So that would not cut into his golf time. Some of the best golfers in baseball are starting pitchers, because they have time off.
Sure.
Like 4 days.
That's 4 days on the range if you want to do it that way. Good spring for Josh Reddick. He's ready to go.
Well, already we are seeing in this series they're not shifting against Josh Reddick as we have seen the last couple of years with all the exaggerated shifts, usually through the left side, but he is using the whole field. And I don't know if this is the beginning, but I mean, this is about as straight up, with the exception of the third baseman Duffy off the back at third, but up the middle, first base, this is straight outfield. So if nothing else, with Reddick using the whole field, it's helped get him back to normal position.
It'll be interesting the beginning of the season to see if all teams do that, or if they do shift on him.
But as we saw in spring training, they were shifting against number 97 with no name on his back. But
so you're saying shifts are here to stay. And we may see more this year from the Athletics. That's something that was talked about a little bit in spring training.
And Ron Washington back at third base. He joined the club towards the end of the season. Third, Mike Aldretti from the bench coach to first base. And Mark Kotsay, the new bench coach.
Change up. Reddick strikes out. 3 up, 3 down inning for Kane. No score after 1 from the Coliseum. Story for today. It's brought to you by McDonald's. This morning, Bob Melvin said, let's forget about batting practice. Let's go over to Oracle and have a little fun. And they did. In fact, they had a 3-point shooting contest, which was won by that guy, Chris Bassett. He got a signed jersey from Klay Thompson. But check this out. In honor of Steph Curry, Josh Reddick walks out of the locker room, sinks that shot, and then Axford does it with the old Rick Barry shot.
That's beautiful. That's dangerous, though, jumping over the seats. Is a very good relief pitcher, but
so they had a lot of fun. So they were thinking that we had to take batting practice, but instead they walked over and they shot baskets on the Oracle floor. Had a good time, and Reddick made the incredible hallway shot that Steph Curry makes just about every day, it seems like.
Well, Steve Kerr, the head coach, and Bob Melvin are good friends, and I'm sure it's unfortunate the Warriors lost at home last night, which is a big story around not only the NBA but around the world, that they lost at home. New pitcher Eric Surkamp, who had an outstanding spring, pitched very well. He's pitching 13 innings down in Arizona and getting the appearance here. And we hope Felix DeBron is okay. 17 pitches, 1 inning, unless that was planned. But usually, you're not going to start for a week. It's not pitch an inning and see you later. So we hope everything's okay.
We're going to definitely keep our fingers crossed. That one driven to deep right center field. Nobody's going to get it. One hops the wall, and Duffy will have a double. Well, Ray, back to DeBron. I mean, I asked the manager. I said, how many pitches did he? Said right around 80. So let's hope nothing's wrong.
New pitcher in the second inning, but Duffy has been doing great, at least in this, the third game of the Babe Ruth series. Swinging the bat well, this time going opposite field, and ball kept tailing back, could not tail back enough to get to Josh Reddick.
So Duffy at second, nobody out. Here's Crawford. Crawford DHing today. Well, we can't do it during the regular season, but we can do it exhibition baseball, and that's interview the A's players during the game. We will do that. Sonny Gray is going to join us. Talk about pitching opening night. Hope to get John Axford. Hope to get Kurt Young, maybe Stephen Vogt when Vogt comes out of the game. So it's fun to check in with the guys.
Yeah.
They're generally pretty relaxed during their exhibition telecast.
And you're right, good time to do it during the exhibition portion of the season.
Crawford pops out.
But in San Francisco, fortunately, the A's, of course, will not need a pitcher to stand at the plate, let alone try to hit, until June. They go back to Milwaukee and Cincinnati. So Bruce Bochy, the manager of the Giants, allowed the A's to use the DH while his pitchers hit. And curiously, they hit 8th both nights. It was Peavy last night and Samardzija on Thursday. Bruce Bochy, the manager, and excellent manager, former catcher. Done a great job with the Giants.
Here's Pagan. Kind of a half swing.
Kept seeing the players going over to Oracle and shooting around, playing basketball this morning. Reminds me of Joe Girardi, manager of the Yankees. He would have his players show up like they did today and take them bowling, just to kind of get the guys familiar with each other, especially the new players. And Bob Melvin talked about going to Tokyo in 2012 when the team opened the season in Japan, and how that helped them to be together for that period of time. Ended up winning the division on the final day of the season.
Well, and it certainly helps if you can just walk across the hallway and shoot baskets on another place where team chasing all kinds of records and world champions play. It's kind of fun.
As long as the players did not wear the baseball cleats
I don't think so.
on the basketball court, which they all have tennis shoes. But I think the skipper also talked about the ability to find out the real good athletes. And Chris Bassett, I think, watching him shoot, Steve Kerr was there. He might have said, can you play a little basketball as well?
Yeah, I think Bassett was, from what we understand, a very good high school basketball player. No surprise there. He's big enough. Strike 3 call. Good delayed call.
Yeah, good fastball inside and right exactly in the area that.
But a good pitch.
Absolutely, and it froze Pagan, and maybe with the 2-strike pitch didn't think he's going to come that close to the plate, but did, and had a good offering. So Cam started the Cactus League for the A's. I mean, Kurt Young, the A's pitching coach, who does a tremendous job. They back it up starting opening night. Sonny Gray will be the opener, and then they start backing up towards the beginning of spring training. And sometimes you get pitchers pitching who may not be in the rotation.
Lofted toward Burns, who's got it, and the leadoff double is stranded. Bottom of the second coming up would be Valencia, Vogt, and Butler. No score. California is brought to you by AAA. Get an insurance quote from AAA. Go to a AAA branch for details. That's the kind of day it is in the Bay Area. Plenty of sunshine. No score. It's the bottom of the second inning. And Valencia, Vogt, and Butler to hit against Matt Cain. These two teams, A's and Giants, Well, they've been squaring off against each other in interleague play since interleague play started back in 1997. This year they will play June 27th through the 30th. A 4-game stretch with Monday and Tuesday in San Francisco, Wednesday and Thursday here in Oakland. So we'll call it a 4-game series.
Home and home.
Right down the middle, so that'll be kind of fun. Again, June 27th through the 30th. Been a fairly even series. The A's had a little advantage for a while, but they were a little bit. Giants were a little hard on the A's last year.
And I think we saw the final weekend of the A's regular season schedule last year, and a great Saturday matinee with Barry Zito and Tim Hudson going head to head. Off the catcher's mitt onto the mask, and watch the mask flip. Of course, you put your mitt up and then foul ball, it changes the direction of the baseball, and unfortunately O'Brien got it right in the mask. He's out. But those games are sold out.
Yep.
And I would assume that when the Giants come over here to play the A's, those 2 games will be sold out because you have fans on both sides of the bay for both teams. So it's always a lot of fun to see a packed house all the time, but especially those series or across the bay and here.
Valencia, looks like it ticked off his bat.
I think some of the hitters might be looking for a little bit more from Matt Cain than what they're getting. Started, check swing, just happened to hit the bat. This time avoided the catcher.
Two is bounced foul. Yeah, there was a time when Cain threw 95 miles an hour, but a lot of chucks in that arm and velocity down.
His off-speed pitches are good. He threw one to Billy Burns leading off the game and fooled him with a little bloop to left field.
Another 2-2 to Valencia. And that one hit to left near the wall, but Pagan's got enough room. Valencia may have got that just a little bit off the end of the bat.
Fans, great seats are available for the A's home opener Monday. That's against the Chicago White Sox. Tickets are going fast, and they really are, so don't miss your chance to see Sonny Gray, Josh Reddick, and the 2016 Athletics. In addition, 32,000 fans will receive a magnetic schedule presented by CSN California. That's us. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets, or you can call 877-493-BALL. Opening night, opening day, opening game, always special, and your chance to come out and watch your team. And Sonny Gray almost pitched a no-hitter last year on opening night against the Texas Rangers.
How about Sonny Gray and Chris Sale?
Yeah. How about not a lot of hitting? But if you like pitching, 2 pretty good pitchers.
Chris Sale led the American League in strikeouts last year. So did I see where the White Sox were throwing 3 left-handers to start the series? Then did I see Matt Latos on Thursday?
Game,
so 3 lefties to start the year the A's will face again. So we'll see what Bob Melvin does with his lineup. He's going to shift that lineup around a lot this year, I think.
If you're hitting down in the batting order, you get a chance to see and watch the velocity of Matt Cain, and maybe hitting late as Stephen Vogt hitting 5th, maybe staying back a little bit longer on the off-speed pitches.
This one's skied and playable for the catcher. Brown reaches up, grabs it. So the first 2 weeks for the A's looks like this. There you see the 4-game series against the White Sox, 3 night games and then a day game. And then we will travel after the game on Thursday to Seattle, and then right back home, a 3-game series against the Angels, and then 3 against the world champion Kansas City Royals. So when you stretch out that schedule for the entire month of April, the A's have 12 home games and 13 road games in April. They got a couple of off days, but Ray, there's a tough stretch in there. You saw that Kansas City weekend series. But the A's go Kansas City, New York, Toronto, Detroit, Houston. It's a 16-game stretch with some games on the road, an East Coast trip in there. So that's an early, challenging part of the schedule for the A's.
Well, the challenging part also is going to be going to the East Coast in April, because the weather is. Toronto, of course, can have the roof closed, but New York, Detroit could be a little bit chilly.
Yeah, that's an early 10-game East Coast road trip. New York, Toronto, Detroit. Good teams, and you're never quite sure about the weather, but
I think the surprising thing about the schedule, the A's will see every Eastern Division team back on the East Coast before they see the Texas Rangers in May here. So they load up against the Rangers in their own division, 19 games, 6 times for quite a while.
A little flare, right field. Pence is going to let it drop. Yeah, as I looked at the Rangers schedule, you're right. The first time the A's and Rangers play is May 16th here at the Coliseum. We do not go to Arlington, Ray, until July 25th.
Which that means 3 trips from July to the end of the season. To
August, September.
Yeah.
So sometimes that happens.
And also there's 3 trips separately to Houston.
Well, you knew that was going to happen.
But those are the schedule makers. Mickey Morabito, as I mentioned, director of team travel, the best. And he tries to make some changes to accommodate his team.
Nice play by Duffy. He's put on a show in this series with his glove, and he does so there. Takes a hit away from Billy Butler. When we come back, Sonny Gray. We'll check in. We'll talk to Sonny about the opening night start. We'll have that when we come back. Oakland Coliseum. Sonny Gray, who will start on Monday night for the A's, is kind enough to join us, standing by downstairs. Sonny, so I think you had a pretty good idea you were going to start on opening night, but when do you start kind of thinking about that actual night and thinking about the White Sox and going over the scouting reports? Is it yesterday, a week ago? How long do you go back?
Yeah, not really until this week, actually, because so much stuff can happen in spring training, so much stuff can change, but roughly this week. So the normal kind of preparation, you obviously kind of know. I pitched against them in spring, and they seem to have a lot of the regulars in there, so you kind of know going in who you're going to get. And but then there's also, with Rollins, who knows if Rollins is going to be in there or not, with him making the team. So it'll be we won't necessarily actually know the lineup until Monday, but you kind of have an idea.
One thing, Sonny, and every starting pitcher has a routine. How different, if anything, is it for opening night? Butterflies more so on opening night versus the other 33, 34 starts you might make.
Yeah, it's a really cool experience to pitch on opening night. So really the thing I try to do is maybe come out a little bit earlier, maybe 5 or 10 minutes earlier, just knowing that there's going to be some, festivities going on, whether there's a flag in the outfield or there's a longer anthem or there's something else going on. You always got to be prepared for that, and that's something that I learned. Just knowing that there's a lot of other distractions to go on, but once you kind of get out there and start doing your work, you really just focus and get ready for the game. But you got to be a little bit flexible on opening night, and I don't have a problem with that.
Well, you almost went into the history books last opening night. You took a no-hitter into the 8th inning. We were cheering for you, but we were feeling for your manager because he was watching your pitch count. But what are your memories from that terrific performance last year on opening night?
Yeah, it was. It's one of those things. Like during the game, you kind of know what's going on, and I didn't really. I mean, I realized it, but I didn't think. I was like, oh, yeah, that would be kind of cool, this and that. Like during the game, you're like, because you know, as a pitcher, going back out for the 8th inning, you haven't given up a hit, so you're like, okay, that would be pretty cool. But at that point, I was just like, you know what? I don't even care if I give up a hit. I just don't want to give up a run here. And then looking back at it, especially now, you look back at it, you're like, man, that would have been really cool. Instead of it just being like, oh yeah, that'd be okay. Now you look back and like, man, that would have actually been something neat. But during the moment, I'm just kind of do whatever I can do to not give up a run.
Well, you'd have joined only Rapid Robert Bob Feller as the only pitcher ever to pitch a no-hitter on opening day. Is the case back with the Cleveland Indians, but you came close. And I thought it was interesting just recently as we're showing some of your performance on that opening night, and as Pipe said, your skipper and Kurt Young had to be extremely happy when you gave up a hit because they were the pitch counts and all that. But I thought what Stephen Vogt and Josh Phegley both said, that you can create pitches during a game. If something's not working, you can create something that becomes successful. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I think it's just the whole, as I was saying, like pregame warm-ups and stuff. It's just being flexible with everything, being flexible with with your schedule, and then taking it to the mound. And just I've never looked at it. There's one certain way to get guys out. Yeah. So there's sometimes you do gotta make some stuff up, and you got to figure out what's working that day. And I learned how to do that at Vanderbilt and just kind of carried it along up here.
Sonny, thanks for joining us, and we're going to be pulling for you big time on Monday night. Good luck.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right, so Sonny Gray will get his 3rd consecutive opening night start, and we are looking forward to that. No score. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. Made the trip over, and right now Matt Cain has retired the first 6 as he faces Chris Davis, Yonder Alonso, and Marcus Semien. Chris Davis, a good spring, his first with the Athletics after a couple of years with Milwaukee Brewers.
Well, familiar with the Valley of the Sun, having trained in Maryvale with the Brewers, but 27 home runs in limited playing last year because of injuries. But for the A's to get him and his power on the right side, and you've got two positions, left and right, pretty consistent. And that is Davis in left and Reddick in right. The guy's going to be in the lineup pretty much every day.
And Chris Davis, 28 years old.
How about he gets to join the A's, wear white shoes, and he wears the high pants with the stirrup socks showing.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked to guys that are extremely happy when they join the A's because they get to wear white shoes.
Sure, makes them feel fast.
Yeah.
Out of Cal State Fullerton. He was the 7th round pick of the Milwaukee Brewers in 2009.
Talk about a strong foundation there. The white shoes that coming for the Athletics started back in 67, 68. Charlie Finley. Remember seeing the guys coming into Portland when I was playing AAA? They walked down, coming into the clubhouse, and all you saw were white shoes,
sure.
Street shoes, and then they put your shoes on. So white shoes, but they look good. Still look good.
Well, one of the many reasons. That one's hit to left, and that one is going to leave the ballpark. Indeed, a hanger, and Chris Davis deposits that one into the left field bleachers. So the A's with a 1-0 lead.
You know the best thing about that home run? How many times, Cap, do we see players come to play for the A's, play at the Coliseum, that crush the ball, and it doesn't go out? And they go, oh, no. As Chris Davis and Bob Melvin said, he can hit balls out of any place. Left field line, right field line, every place in between. And he just unloaded on a hanging curveball that shot out of here. So nothing's going to keep him contained, and he showed it on that one.
Looked like a hanger.
Hanging curveball, lift off, and he lifted off, knew it was gone, and just waited back perfectly. And that's what you're supposed to do with a hanging curveball.
Quick 0-2 to Yonder Alonso. But I was saying, Ray, is with the many things that has always made the A's kind of special, kind of cool, is nobody else has white spikes in the big leagues, and nobody else has green and gold as their colors.
That's a good point. Yeah. Just as long as they don't bring out the canary yellow.
No,
we did with the pants.
Nobody was wearing uniforms like you guys wore in the 70s either.
No,
it's kind of special.
Special for fans.
Just a little something different, which is good.
It's a Reggie Jackson jersey, number 9. Wore 44 with the Yankees. Came back to the A's, wore 44. Both retired. Yeah, watch this swing. The white shoes up to a swing on a hanging curveball, and there's some power for you, and exactly what the A's are hoping to get. And he just proved he can hit them out.
Well, Chris Davis, coming from Miller Park in Milwaukee, which, you know, we talk about Coors Field and Texas, and most people will tell you that that is the most hitter-friendly park in baseball, Miller Park. Doesn't mean Chris Davis wouldn't have hit over 20 home runs in another park, but it is a happy place.
Yeah, exactly. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. Includes free subscription to @Bat Premium. That's very special. The #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. But I think that's why Bob Melvin, because people say, well, that was Miller Park and he hit all these home runs. And the skipper was talking about his batting practice and how, you know, he just used the whole field. So he's not a one-dimensional, pull everything type hitter, which makes him an excellent hitter in a lot of the American League parks.
Yeah, listen, I mean, will he hit balls here that may not get out that would have gone on Miller Park? Sure.
Yeah.
but he has plenty of power.
Oh,
1-1 to Marcus Semien.
Kane retired 6 in a row before Davis hit the hanging curveball. Now Kane in the stretch after 3-2 pitch. Off speed also to Alonso that he took.
Alonso runs, and this one's popped up right over our head.
Okay, well, you know one gentleman who loves offense, and that's our good friend Monty Moore down in Porterville. He and his wife Dion, and we wish him the best. And Monty said to this, he said, Ray, I'm going to watch till 3 o'clock, and then my Sooners are going to be playing in the Final Four.
And we'll give him that.
Yeah, and he said, I love baseball and I love watching UAK, but I have to tell you that when my Sooners come on, you're off.
We'll let him slide.
So the best to Dion and Monty, and good people, and they'll be watching their Sooners.
Now at second, and not quite in time. Semien hustling to first, and he beat the throw. So Kane speared it, made a good throw to second base, but Semien hustling all the way.
And really not hit hard enough had Kane let the ball go through. If it is you hear the sound of the broken bat, but a good play by Kane. Just good hustle by Marcus Semien to avoid the double play. And there's your slide right there, straight into the bag. We saw last night when Brandon Belt went out of the direction.
They may be thinking about letting, but so did they? And I was watching the game on TV. So they called that double play. They called Belt out.
Yes,
is that correct?
They called it an interference.
Yeah,
so it would have been double play regardless.
Because I saw Belt and Semien kind of talking, and I wasn't sure if that was the actual call.
That's a bang bang, and I think. You know, last night, surprisingly, on a play at first base, Alonso foot was 2 feet off the bag. Brochi looked, that's safe. Yeah. But no, that the new rules, and just saw Alonso sliding in the second. You have to go to the bag. You cannot deviate from your direct path, and that's what Belt did last night. And there was some question, and of course, there's not been. I actually thought there might be some review, but watch Brandon Belt as he goes to second base on this double play. The flip from Coughlin, see, he's going to go way out of the line. He hardly could be able to reach back and touch second base. That automatically means it's interference in the double play. But under the new guidelines, see how he started the bag and then changed direction. That you cannot do either. That's the new rule.
Semien runs. The ball's bounced to Belt. He looks at second. But also on that slide, and it wasn't a bad slide, but there was a little bit of a roll as well at the back end of the slide, and that is also now against the rules. You can't do a kind of a roll block, and he didn't really do a roll block, but you saw his body kind of go up over just a little bit, and that has now been eliminated.
That's called the Chase Utley new rule.
Yeah.
At second. We have a new David Price rule at pitchers.
That's right.
That Chris Bassett
learned that last night.
Exactly. Chris Bassett balked the other night because he did something that's not allowable anymore. Had a chance to visit with Bill Miller, and he was describing it as he did to Mike Krukow and the crew last night over in San Francisco.
So just, I mean, and again, we're just kind of helping you out with the new rules, but see, he's quite a ways off the bag, and watch, there's a little roll right there at the end too, and the elbow went up. So listen, I think at this point, exhibition season, umpires may be saying, you know what, let's call that.
Yeah.
And maybe just let guys know kind of what we're looking for.
And that, correct me if I'm wrong, can be challenged. So if there's the neighborhood play, the slide, the play at the plate, you got home runs. I mean, there's going to be a possibility, a lot of reviews, challenges.
Driven toward left center, Span on the move, and Denard Span missed it. It popped off his glove. Semien will score, and Lowry will make it easily to third, and now the ball's getting kicked around. They're going to wave him out. Here comes the throw to the plate, and he is safe. Denard Span should have caught it. He didn't, and then when he went to pick it up, he dropped it, and Lowry just kept running. So we like to call that a Little League home run, but there may be an error involved there somewhere.
Well, the off-speed pitch again with a couple of strikes, or one strike, and Lowry drove it. His Span there. Watch it kick off his glove. Ball tailed back to him, and he just missed it. But the one thing about all coaches say, you run hard, let me make the decision. And Jed Lowry saw it leave. He's going to get at least 3. But as he approached third base, Maybe he's thinking about the basketball Warriors because Ron Washington said, let's go. And he kept going and able to slide safely into home. So a ball that should have been caught ends up in 2 runs, with 2 runs.
So it is 2 errors. How about that? So the
no catch.
Official score is saying he should have caught it. That's your 1 error. And the 2nd error was the fact that he just picked it up and dropped it. So 2 errors on 1 play by an outfielder. You may have to wait a long time to see that again. So when it's all said and done, the A's get 3. Don't forget the first one came on a long home run by that man, Chris Davis. 4th inning coming up. It's 3-0 A's lead. And in the offseason, the A's said, we're going to redo our bullpen. They did. And one of the guys they brought in is John Axford with a 2-year contract. John is standing by downstairs. And John, we appreciate you stopping by. And obviously, a 2-year contract is nice. A nice payday is nice. But what made the A's attractive when you were a free agent this past offseason?
There's a few different things, obviously. You know, I pitched in Denver last year, so one of the biggest ones was going from a
anywhere but Denver,
park,
right?
yeah, to one of the best, you know, pitchers-friendly parks. And obviously the track record of the past. You know, last year obviously was a difficult year for the A's. A lot of 1-run games that swung the wrong way. But 3 years prior to that, right in a row, you know, you had a playoff team here, so you know, a good core group of those guys are back here, and I think, you know, like you said, a little revamp, changing a few guys. Hopefully, you know, things will work out better, get back to the playoffs again.
John, how much does it help from your standpoint, being a former closer and a capable closer? You have Doolittle, you have Ryan Matz, you have a bunch of guys down there that you guys can feed off each other. One's not available, another guy can do it. And we saw last night the way you can throw, you can close and do it anytime. But how does that help you guys as a group?
I think the more guys with experience you have down there, the better. For me personally, you know, if you have guys that have thrown in the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th, have the was that close? Did that almost foul off to me?
Yeah, it was heading your direction.
You need a protector down there.
If you have, you know, if you have those guys in the back end of the pen that have that experience, I think it's just better. You know, you have guys that have been in those pressure situations that can handle those moments and those spots and the big moments of the game. I think if you slot in and fill all those guys in the right spots, all the better, especially when you can do 7, 8, 9 that way.
Now, John, from what we've read, you're a guy who likes to have fun. And how long does it take to you to kind of blend in and get to know all your relievers, especially when there's 4 or 5 new guys, and you guys obviously going to spend a lot of time together during the season? What are some of the things you did in spring training just to kind of get you guys together?
Really just try and be as open as possible. You know, for me, it's something I actually have to work on a little bit. I do like to be by myself. I do like to have my own time with my own thoughts and doing my own things. But spring training, last 3 years in a row, I've been with a new club, so you got to get to know the guys, you got to get to know the staff. So you just got to bust out a little bit, have some fun, get to know the guys. So that's always been a great thing for me, you know, right at the beginning of camp when all the pitchers are there. Just getting to know the new guys and all the different personalities that can be around.
And he talked about the revamped bullpen, and so many one-run losses last year, a lot of leads going into the bullpen, they lost it. But one thing that I was impressed last night with you pitching, and everybody's talking about the power arms the A's now have, and you're one of them. You threw a 2-2 curveball last night, came back with a 3-2 fastball and blew the hitter away. Many times the hitter said, you throw a 2-2 and miss with a curveball, you're going to throw me a fastball. How much can you rely on your good fastball where you might try the 12-6 curve, but if you miss, you've got the power arm to come back and throw a fastball?
That's always a big thing. You know, I really have to rely on my fastball a lot. I think getting that in the zone, making sure I work down, and if I can get ahead of guys, get the life on the fastball that I need, I can work the count the way I want to, get the guys out.
Well, we're glad you're here, John. Welcome to the A's, and we're looking for big things here in 2016, so we appreciate you stopping by.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right, so one of the new arms down in the A's bullpen, John Axford. He's a good one. We'll be back. So the A's leading 3-0, bottom of the fourth. Ray Fosse, Glenn Kuiper is looking forward to wrapping up the exhibition schedule. Everybody's getting set. Say 3 games tomorrow, right, Ray?
Yes,
which is
3 games and the Sunday before everybody else would open on Monday.
on 1 pitch. Valencia is retired.
Fagic turned back the clock to 1981 on April the 16th when the A's take on the world champion Royals. 15,000 fans will receive a Stephen Vogt 1981 replica jersey. It's presented by Cache Creek Casino Resort. Throw back to the Billy Boy era. The jersey features Oakland on the front and Vogt on the back while playing homage to one of the greatest periods in franchise history. Visit athletics.com/tickets today.
So nice chat with John Axford. Heard good things about Mr. Axford, so it was always fun talking to the guys.
Happy to mention that, and the one thing that was pretty evident during spring training, and Stephen Vogt said it, as they're saying they believe in Stephen Vogt, but Vogt said it's nice to know the guy comes out of the bullpen, he's got 95 in his back pocket, and something really the A's did not have. And what I mentioned to Axford, that was great last night because 2-2 curveball missed, but he just blew the hitter away with a good fastball right down the middle. And so I think it was might have been Hunter Pence, but anyway, just the fact that he could do that when the hitter was looking for it was special.
Remember last year in spring training, this time right now last year was an extremely difficult time for John Axford and his family. His young son was bitten by a rattlesnake down in spring training. And listen, it's sad no matter how you look at it, but if you have kids, especially little kid, I mean, he's just a little guy, and he was very sick for quite a while, but he is back. He's 100%, and it was a very, very scary situation, and that was all kind of going on right now. In fact, he started the season. He was not on the active roster with the Colorado Rockies, but the good news is that the youngster Jameson is healthy and running around like most little guys do.
And he'll be here. He's coming in. John said the family's coming in the weekend because they missed opening day last year because of that serious injury. But John's looking forward to having them here for the opener and then return to school. But yeah, that's scary. That is scary. Plus, he went on to have 25 saves, very successful season following that, and that was weighing on his mind the whole season as well.
So Stephen Vogt gets a base hit. That's just the second hit for the A's.
And a good two-strike approach by Stephen Vogt. And, you know, scouts just rave about his ability to hit and what he's done behind the plate as well. Impersonations off chart, but a very, very good player for the Athletics.
There's your changes defensively for the Giants. We'll get some from the A's soon as well. Blanco in right, Gillespie at third, Adrianza and Green. Pitch to Butler is grounded. Tomlinson, Adrianza, and Green digs out a bad throw. So a 6-4-3 double play, and Butler is retired, and so are the Athletics. We're headed to the fifth from the Coliseum. 3-0 A's. And then a play where Denard Span made 2 errors on 1 play, and it helped the A's score 2 more runs. Eric Surkamp is into his 4th inning of work. Felix Dubron pitched the 1st inning. And remember, Felix Dubron is maybe the A's 5th starter. Through the 1st inning, 17 pitches and left, and the report is a little tightness in his left forearm. And it certainly could be precautionary.
Sure. Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. That one is driven toward Burns in right center, and Billy glides over and makes the catch. So 1 away. Here's our forward right choice. Mark Kotsay is now the bench coach for the Oakland A's. We remember him as a player in the green and gold, and he was very good. 2004 to 2007 for Kotsay. 4 years with the Athletics. He was a gamer. He was fun to watch, played a great center field for the Athletics. A good clubhouse guy, and he's back with the Athletics as their new bench coach. So we're glad to have Mark back. He had a very good career, nearly 1,800 career hits. Mark Kotsay was a college star. He was the Golden Spikes winner way back when. High draft pick.
One of the highlights going to postseason 2006 at the Metrodome, hitting an inside the park home run.
That's right.
And Mark Kotsay, of course, wearing number 7. I said, what happened to 21? He said, I couldn't ask Stephen Vogt for it.
Yeah, that's true.
Coaches don't ask players for numbers. You can't do that. Unless, in the case of Harold Baines, they retired his number in Chicago. They took it out of retirement and put it on his back. But not for Mark Kotsay. Just happened to be here as a bench coach. And as always, with the work the bench coaches have to put in running spring trainings, this is a relaxing time because all of that hard work in Mesa, getting everybody on the right fields and getting the times, everything color coordinated, did a great job.
And that's a good inning for Eric Serkan. 3 up, 3 down. When we come back, the pitching coach, Curt Young. He's going to finish up his notes, put the headset on, and he's going to give us some goodies. 3-0 A's lead. At the Coliseum, the A's leading the Giants 3-0. Final exhibition game of this 2016 season. Get going for real on Monday. The pitching coach, Curt Young, is downstairs. And Curt, hate to start on a downer note, but what can you tell us about Felix Dubron? We were told up here a little tightness in the left forearm.
Yeah, he had a good warm-up, just felt something, you know, trying to extend on his fastball, and his changeup felt a little tightness in his arm, so we're going to get him out of there.
So 17 pitches for Dubron, and so it sounds like at this point pretty precautionary. He does have a little bit of time before his first start, which would be Friday, but if there's a time to be cautious, this would be it, right?
Yeah, for sure. We'll see how he reacts tomorrow, next couple days, and see where we're at.
Curt, I know you do a lot of hard work with your pitchers, and especially starting in spring training, and kind of explain, if you will, how you arrange. Sonny Gray is going to be the starter, and then the rest of the guys, how you back them up from the beginning to make sure they get their proper number of starts during spring training, the proper number of pitches they throw, so they're ready for the first start.
Yeah, you do. You back up from, you know, the opening series and work your way back, and sometimes there's adjustments to be made. Obviously, Sonny was on a perfect schedule. Rich Hill, Kendall, they're all on a perfect schedule, and if you got to mix and match, you got to mix and match. But you work your way where they get themselves up to 100 pitches, at least one start, back them down the start before the season, and then they get 5 days rest coming into their opening start.
Well, Curt, to follow up that question, when do you start doing that? First week of March?
Oh, no, that's in December, January. You know, we know who we're going to have and what order, just a thought what we'd like to see them in what order, and you work your way that way.
I got you.
Now you've got a righty, lefty, righty, righty, lefty schedule in that rotation. What, if anything, determines how you want to arrange? Do you want the separation between righties and lefties, or is it just a matter of starting with Sonny Gray and going from there?
Well, you definitely like the mix in there, and you know, with two lefties in there, it does make it tough on a team in a series where they're not facing three righties or even two lefties in a 3-game series. So any way you can mix, you give a team a different look every start, and I think that's to our advantage.
Well, Kurt, a lot of poor pitching numbers in Arizona for every team this year, but it's always nice to get back in non-Arizona weather. What did you see from Bassett? Start with him on Thursday night, because his stuff looked pretty good over in San Francisco.
It was, and even the start before that, he was very good in Arizona. He had one rough start where he got knocked around pretty good, and we all understand that's going to happen in Arizona. You just want to make sure they come out of their starts feeling good about what they did and try and get something done even if they don't have their best game.
You have 4 new relievers, 4 veterans that came over during the offseason, acquired by David Force, Billy Bain, and that means that you have to learn them, they have to learn you. How do you go about doing that with new pitchers, whether the bullpen or the rotation?
Well, first you like to know what they like to do in spring training. You know, they have that veteran experience and what makes them feel good coming into the season, and really Ryan and John Axford were open to what we did, and we like to get them 10 games. We like to get them a back-to-back. We like to get, you know, a couple outings where their pitch count gets close to 30, because you understand once the season starts, you know, they're going to be in a rough inning, and just knowing that they're prepared to do that makes us feel good, and it makes them feel good. They've had a stretched out outing, some runners on base, and be able to get out of it and feel strong at the end of their outings.
And Kurt, with these new guys, when you first meet with them, they get to spring training, how does the conversation go? I mean, are you asking the questions? Are they asking you questions? Or how is the get to know each other sequence go at the beginning of spring training?
Well, with two guys like that, first of all, we're very glad to have them. You know, two guys with the experience that they have, especially at the end of the games and the success they've had. I think they're going to fit in very well with whatever position we put them in at the end of the game. So we definitely have some options, and you know, and the way they throw the baseball, the experience that they've had, we feel good, they feel good, and I think both of them got comfortable with all our guys in spring training, and you know, you got to become a team near the end of spring training, which carries off into the season.
You are an outstanding left-handed pitcher. You've been an exceptional pitching coach throughout your career, and especially with the Athletics. A lot of times nothing's made of September and March in spring training. You saw Ryan Dull in September. You saw him in spring. What stands out? What's special about him?
Well, he's got ice in his veins for one. I don't think anything affects him, good or bad, which is a good thing, because you know he did have a couple rough outings last year, but the way he bounced back is what impressed us, and how consistent he throws a baseball. He's a guy that can, coming in and out of the bullpen, you know, he has 90, 91, 92, which is good enough, but it's the fact that he can pitch a little bit. He can use his breaking ball behind the count. He can use changeups to lefties when he's behind in the count. So very unpredictable with what he does, and he's got enough fastball that keeps him honest.
Kurt, what do you want to see from Jesse Hahn as he goes to AAA, which is, I guess, a bit of a surprise. We thought he was going to be part of the rotation, but when you check on what he's doing down there, what are you going to be looking for?
Well, very much so. I mean, definitely we're going to be counting on Jesse somewhere along this time in this season, and you know, with him missing the last 2.5 months, it was kind of hard to predict what was going to happen in spring training with him coming in. And what he did is he showed a healthy arm, he showed velocity, he showed a great curveball at times. So now it's just a matter of him getting the ball on the ground. He is a sinker ball guy. As many ground balls as he can get, no matter what game he's pitching in, he's going to feel good about how he's throwing the baseball. And you know, the more grounders Jesse gets, you know he's throwing it the right way.
It's a great point, Kurt, because we saw in Kendall Graveman last night, good sinker. Bassett on Thursday with a good sinker, as Kai alluded to. From a pitcher standpoint, and you yourself, and you know, you could nail the corners, a great pitcher, but having a sinking fastball to work for you effectively, how much does that help a pitcher to know that he's got that in his back pocket, he can throw and get a ground ball?
Well, you know, Ray, especially in this ballpark, anything on the ground with the way our infield plays defense is going to help us. And, you know, he's a guy, you keep it out of the air, you keep it from going over the fence, which is number one. And we came out of there feeling good about Jesse, how he was showing great velocity basically every start. So you know his health is in there. Now it's just a matter of him getting that touchdown with his sinker, and his other pitches were there. His curveball was good, and you know he's a guy that as a starter you have to mix throughout, and he can do that.
And Kurt, with how difficult it is to pitch down in Arizona, how much do you worry about the young pitcher's confidence at what can happen in those spring training games where you may get knocked around a little bit?
Well, for one, they all look forward to getting here. And it's tough to pitch in spring training. It really is. I mean, you get away. There's really no scouting report. It's all about how you throw the ball. Make sure your strengths are there when you go out and pitch every game. And Arizona's tough. There's no taking that away from any of these, pitchers or hitters, but it's a different deal in Arizona. And like I say, if they all come out healthy, feeling good about how they're throwing the ball, we're going to be okay when we get here.
Kurt, you made a very good the word scouting reports. Now put your hat on as a pitcher as you were in the late 80s. The scouting reports you had on the opposition compared to now with all the information that you have to present to your catchers and starting pitchers.
Yeah, we have quite a bit of information, the early swingers, the low walkers, the which side of the plate is best for fastballs, which was always there with advanced scouts as well. But, you get into the numbers part of the game where, whether opposite field, the guy, his strength is going oppo, his strength is pulling the baseball, those type of things. So there's a lot of information that definitely we want our catchers and starters knowing for sure, and then it comes down to relievers are different animals. They come in with stuff. They do what their strength, what works best for them, and let that play out.
Well, Kurt, we appreciate you stopping by, and good luck this year. We'll be talking to you a lot.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
You know what? He was on longer. You had Axford and Gray, 5 pitches each. You're on forever. I mean, that's why you're the best, because you get out here, guys keep fouling pitches so you can answer all these great questions.
I haven't even got a chance to look at how many outs. I see 1 out, so as long as we keep hitting, I'm just fine.
You're a fountain of information, Kurt.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Kurt.
And just as we say goodbye, I was going to say it could be a double play, but it's always great to talk to Kurt, one of the real nice guys in our business, and also a terrific pitching coach.
And let's not forget that Kurt was here, and then Kurt went back with Terry Francona as a pitching coach for the Boston Red Sox. Got a note from a friend of mine in Boston, Ryan Sitsky, who said, "Ray, it's snowing in Boston. Glad you're not here, as we are experiencing beautiful weather here at the Coliseum on this Saturday afternoon." So that's what's happening back on the East Coast. And Kurt, tell you, sadly, Terry Francona got fired. He's back now managing, doing a great job with Cleveland. But with that happening, Kurt was able to come back to Oakland. He's been here ever since and may never leave, because he is one of the best pitching coaches in baseball.
I think the Red Sox are in Montreal playing that 2-game series against the Blue Jays in Montreal.
But they're going home, though. They have to go back to Fenway. Fenway will be packed. Probably get the snow off like they did in Milwaukee many years ago when it was snowing on opening day. And Terry Steinbach hit a grand slam. The A's lost anyway. That was first inning. Remember Cal Eldridge? Cal Eldridge,
yeah.
Different.
Sounds like a county stadium name.
It was a county stadium. Woke up downtown Milwaukee, snow on the ground, snowing. I said, no game.
Let's go.
They got the brats out. They got the tailgating
Well, brats
done.
have a way of melting the snow.
That's right. It melted it and played the game.
1-2 to Burns. Probably the last inning for Kane, who's at 84 pitches. So he's been able to stretch it out a little bit, as they like to say.
You got David Righetti. Dave Righetti is pitching coach for the Giants. He had the no-hitter with the Yankees back on July the 4th, I think, 84. And another great left-handed pitcher, just like the A's Kurt Young.
Outfield very, very shallow for Burns.
17th season. Wow. He's a good one.
Dave Righetti's at that point now, which it's got to be a wonderful place to be. He can be the pitching coach as long as he wants.
Remember when Barry Zito signed with the Giants? What, I don't know, 2007, something like that. And Barry went into a different windup. I remember Dave said, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, first bullpen. He was trying something new.
Wait a minute. We just signed you to a multi-year contract and you're changing your delivery? What are you doing? But Barry went back to it. Barry spent a lot of time in Nashville, singer-songwriter now, so he's enjoying life as a retired baseball player.
That was fun to have Barry Zito finish his career in green and gold. He was on a couple of the last road trips with us.
Yeah. Road trip, and he and Huddy went head-to-head here on that Saturday in the final weekend of the regular season.
Burns taps it slowly. Gillespie now the third baseman throws low, and Grant Green digs it out again. So the A's strand a runner, and we are headed to the 6th. Still A's 3, Giants nothing.
Sound and with sound, it's good. Presented by Ross, 15,000 fans. Saturday, April the 30th game. We see this one-of-a-kind giveaway that actually plays the A's closers walk out song. Get your tickets today at athletics.com/tickets, or you can call 877-493-BALL. What would do Sean Doolittle? You know what he can do. Pitched well last night over in San Francisco.
You know who my favorite A's player is right now?
Who's that?
Eric Surkamp.
Yeah. He's doing a great job.
Because he has come in and pitched extremely well. This is his 5th inning of work. Some changes. Franklin Barreto, fine young shortstop. We're looking forward to seeing. Fegley now the catcher. Tomlinson bunts. Alonso has it, and Yonder Alonso tags Tomlinson 1 out.
Can't mess with Alonso. He is good around the bag at first base. He's got it from San Diego. Josh Fegley. He and Stephen Vogt will do the catching. Bruce Maxwell has done a great job for the A's. And
Number 2.
But he circled around, did Alonso, to make sure he got the ball and then be able to tag out Tomlinson as he came down the line.
So 1 out, and the top of the order is Denard Span.
You know how good Alonso is? He's got the flip down sunglasses. Guys don't wear flip downs anymore. They wear the wraparounds, but he's got the flip downs. You can see just underneath his cap, see there, where it just touches the bill of the cap. Sunglasses come down, and they are good, as he is.
So 1-1 the count.
Cap, I know you remember this, is Barreto just getting a chance from Caracas, Venezuela. But 2012, right after the All-Star break, the A's back at Minnesota. And Denard Span was playing center. Francisco Liriano struck out 15. A's had no chance. And in the 4th inning, Span dropped a fly ball in center field just like he did earlier today. Loaded the bases. Johnny Gomes hit a grand slam. A's won the game. But that was the magic of 2012. But Span now with the Giants after being in the Nationals, traded there, but just a routine fly ball to center field. This is a little bit more difficult that he dropped with Lowry hitting. But a very good center fielder. If he can keep him healthy, he's going to do well for the Giants.
Count stays 2-2. Now 3 years, a little over $30 million was the free agent contract that Denard Span received. Couple of fly balls in today's game, and he swings and misses, so he's 0 for 3. And a strikeout number 4 for Surkamp.
A slider cutter for Surkamp, and just kept running away from Denard Span, who the Giants hope that he gets spends a lot of time on the bases. Setting the table for the rest of the club.
Adrianza gets his first at bat. Shoots a foul. Good spring for Adrianza. He's made the team as a backup infielder. Sounds like it's possible Eric Sogard could start the season on the disabled list. That's not official. It's a possibility. And Adrianza strikes out. Surkamp rolling around. He's got 5 strikeouts in 5 innings. Bottom of the 6th coming up. A's 3, Giants nothing. California is brought to you by the law offices of Stephen Moskowitz. Aggressive, accessible, experienced tax lawyers. Call Moskowitz LLP at 1-888-TAX-DEAL. Beautiful day at the ballpark with the A's leading the Giants 3-0. The big heads are back. Can't have an A's game without the big heads. They're hanging out in the left field stairway.
Off the bottom of the 6th inning for the Athletics.
Here's my tie for Monday night. If I could just make a trade with that guy. Lowry to lead it off, Reddick to follow, and then Valencia in the bottom of the 6th inning. Raulio Lara, number 72, the new pitcher. So Kane goes 5 innings. 2 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned, a couple of walks, and 1 strikeout. On the ground, nice play. New shortstop is Chu Lee, and he throws out loud. That's a nice play.
Just now he almost hit one out to center field and give it an air to Span, and this one robbed of a base hit. Kind of hooked the ball a little bit, but an excellent play. First out of the inning.
Now batting right fielder, number 22.
It's an excellent play and a nice play on the inning by former Athletic, Mr. Green.
So Reddick hits a strikeout and a fly ball to center field for Reddick. First pitch is a bit high. Texas Rangers, winners of the AL West last year. They will open on Monday, and they will host the Seattle Mariners. And the Rangers will open at home, and that'll be a 3-game series against the Mariners, and then they will go to Anaheim for 4. So that's the first week for the Texas Rangers. Stand within the division. A few changes for the Rangers, Ray.
Oh, yeah. Well,
they're get Darvish back sometime maybe in May. They'll have Hamels for a full season, so I think they have a chance to be pretty good again.
Well, and their former Athletic A.J. Griffin looked like he might have made a rotation as a 5th starter until at least Darvish comes back. That might change when Darvish does return. But A.J. pitched well against the A's in Arizona before the A's headed back here. He had the Tommy John surgery, then last year shoulder soreness, stiffness, but is pitching very well.
Driven to left. It's Mac Williamson who has it.
Fans, you could look like Sonny Gray with your very own striped socks, or Josh Reddick for that point. Presented by Black Bear Diner at the A's first Little League Day on Sunday, April the 17th. 15,000 fans receive a pair of striped socks made famous by the A's ace, Sonny Gray. Get more information and purchase tickets today at athletics.com/promotions or by calling 877-493-BALL. So Sonny Sider's section and Sonny Gray's socks.
Yep. Chris Davis has the pant legs up. There's a shot, and Valencia should have extra bases as he's going to ease into second with a 2-out double. So Valencia has his first hit. For the A's, that's their 3rd hit.
And a pinch runner as the leg kick by Valencia, which has helped him. Got a fastball, drove it solidly to left center, and able to cruise into second base. And that leg kick, you're seeing a lot more hitters at least using the leg kick. Valencia using it very nicely as Jose Bautista with the Toronto Blue Jays used it.
That's Chad Pinder, who has come in to pinch run, so he'll probably stay in the game. Fegley goes after the first pitch and skies one to center. It's hit pretty well, but the new center fielder is Yorkis Hernandez, who's back there. He's got it. Side retired. We are through 6 here in Oakland on a gorgeous day in the Bay Area. It's 3-0 Athletics. 3-0. What do you think, Ray?
The Viking.
Giveaway or
Viking, you find the sponsor.
There's a little bit of everything.
Give it away.
There's a great Clay Wood doing his thing. Tighten things up as he always does.
Now, a lot of rain in the Bay Area this winter, which is great because area definitely needed it. So it might have helped Clay to get the sod in and get it ready for baseball. But man, this is beautiful.
Hitting off the top of the seventh.
He does a lot of hard work and it pays off.
Eric Surkamp, 5 innings so far, giving up just 1 hit. And he'll face Gregor Blanco. Shows bunt, pulls the bat back. Houston Astros will open up their season next week in New York against the Yankees. So they may be keeping their fingers crossed about the weather. Astros will be in New York and in Milwaukee for their first week of action. Astros wild card, one of the wild card teams last year.
Yankees have to be happy that Andrew Miller, who had a fracture on his right hand, he's a left-handed pitcher, but he's going to be able to pitch through.
Yeah, he's going to try.
Aroldis Chapman suspended for the first month, so the A's would not see him on the trip back to New York. Hard throwing left-hander from the Cincinnati Reds.
A few defensive changes. J.P. Sportman in right. Good look at Matt Chapman, and Chad Pinder is now at second base. That one's driven to center. And Burns has it. Remember last year, Ray, the Astros were so terrific at home. Tied for the best home records.
That's right.
But they really struggled on the road. They were 33-48 last year on the road. That was the worst road record in the American League. So they had the best home record and the worst road record.
Except for Dallas Keuchel in New York. In the
you're right. They won the road game.
The most important one, yes. Keuchel, the American League Cy Young Award winner, he is good.
So the Astros have become a force, and it looks like it will stay that way for a while.
Okay, this has to be a big year for the Astros because what they did last year just became maybe out of nowhere.
Yeah.
They made a lot of changes in the bullpen to help themselves, but all of a sudden now they're expected.
You have to build on what you did last year.
Exactly, and that to me, it's a tough division anyway. Seattle improved themselves. The Angels, the A's, of course, did what they did. The Rangers, but to have that kind of year, you kind of hope. And I talked to Ron Washington about it when he took the Rangers to the World Series back-to-back years. You go that far, you don't win it, then you have to start all over the next year. And you just hope from, say, the Astros standpoint that their players have similar years. But they have improved, getting a good closer. Wash, of course, now back in the green and gold.
Astros 86 wins last year. So there certainly has been a revival of baseball in Houston.
That's where it's the Final Four.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Yeah. At the football stadium in Houston.
And next year I heard it's going to be in Arizona at their football stadium. So they're getting the. They don't mess around with a basketball stadium for the Final Four. They want the.
That's the big
50, 60,000 people.
Right. So Grant Green is called out on strikes.
What a job this young man has done. Fastball nailed at the outside corner. Surkamp just continues to roll.
So 2 away. Surkamp came in the second inning, and the first batter he faced was Duffy, and Duffy doubled.
How about that?
And he's allowed 1 base runner since then, and it was an error on Simeon, and that's it. And that runner was erased on a double play. So he's just rolling along.
And he's only thrown 58 pitches. Incredible. So you could say a savior for Kurt Young and the Athletics, and Of course, many of the relievers who've already pitched in the Bay Bridge series would not be pitching today. That would be on the club for Monday.
One and one to Connor Gillespie. Hey, with what happened last night to A.J. Pollock from the Diamondbacks, I'm surprised any manager played any of his regulars today. A.J. Pollock is a terrific player. Slid head first into home plate. Busted up his elbow. And they don't even know if he's going to come back this year. So very disappointing start to the season for the Diamondbacks, who have extremely high hopes coming into this year. Eric Surkamp's been terrific. 7th inning stretch coming up.
Baseball on CSN California is brought to you by Toyota. It's the final days to save on every Toyota during Toyota's One for Everyone sales event. Event ends Monday. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
Star of the day for the A's is Eric Surkamp, who came in the 2nd inning. Ray, he's been dominant.
You know, as you mentioned, just the one hit to Duffy, the first batter he faced, and since then mixing fastballs, sliders as he hit to Span to get him out. He's trying to strike out and just pitching well. And I think this is an exceptional job by the young left-hander and showing what he can do. And let's hope Felix Dubron is okay. But Eric Surkamp has come in and really kind of saved everybody. And you have your starter leave after 1 inning. You kind of worry how many pitchers are going to have to be used, but Eric Surkamp has taken care of that. 6 solid innings for the lefty.
Coco Crisp is going to get an at-bat against the new pitcher for the Giants, Mike Broadway. Chris Davis to follow. Spring training numbers for Broadway. He is a big fella. Have been posing out there on the mound.
Looks like a linebacker, doesn't it?
He does. A little bit inside, and now it's 3-0. Mentioned that the Seattle Mariners will open their season down in Texas. And then, of course, they will head home and host the A's. Mariners will have Thursday off, and then the home opener on Friday with the A's in town. So they have an off day in this first week. The A's do not.
The Royals schedule is one that's hard to believe. With 3 off days in the first week. Start on Sunday, Monday off, then playing the Mets, of course. But you know, that's a lot of off days. Of course, if the weather's bad, it could be good, you know, to have those off days. But that is the Midwest, and we hope the weather is good there as well as in the East Coast by the time the season begins tomorrow and Monday. It's figured to be good here. Perfect weather for the opener.
Pitch out. Chris Davis getting his third at bat. He homered in the third and he walked in the fifth. That Seattle series on Friday, it'll be Taijuan Walker against, that would be Felix Dubron's spot. Keep our fingers crossed there. Saturday night it'll be Nate Carnes, who's the fifth starter for Seattle, against Sonny Gray. And then on Sunday, Felix Hernandez and Rich Hill. That is the tentative pitching matchups for, again, next weekend in Seattle.
Hanging curveball thrown by Matt Cain, hit hard by Chris Davis. First of many Coliseum home runs we expect, especially hitting curveballs like that. Now, that would be described as a great mistake hitter, because that's a two-strike mistake hit very hard by Chris Davis.
And that almost hit him. So 2-1 the count.
Running fastball and almost got him. Chris Davis' father lives down in Southern California. He might love spring training in Arizona, which he did with the Brewers, but now playing for the A's versus back in Milwaukee. So I'm sure his father will be watching him quite a bit, former player.
Well, he'll like those 3 trips to Anaheim
That's
that
right.
we make every year.
For sure. We really would have liked last year. San Diego, Los Angeles, and Anaheim.
That's right. Arizona.
Yeah, you were right about Pollock, and what a devastating blow for a team that signed Zach Greinke and made trades and did everything expecting to do something special in the Western Division. And
well, make sure you join us Monday night from the Coliseum. This 2016 A season gets underway. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. with an hour-long A's pregame live, and then it'll be the A's and the White Sox. First pitch right around 7:05. Sonny Gray and Chris Sale. It'll be the first of a 4-game series. Remember, you'll get complete pre- and post-game coverage on CSN California. Plus, log on to csncalifornia.com for our A's insider Joe Stiglich.
the versatile Chris Coghlan pinch hitting for Alonso and played multiple positions last night. And he is going to be the Ben Zobrist for the A's in 2016 to be able to play as much as he does in different positions. Good left-handed hitter. And when the Cubs signed Ben Zobrist to a long-term contract, it opened up Chris Coghlan to be traded to the Athletics. Took a little 5-minute drive from their Mesa to Mesa and joined the A's in spring training.
Coghlan's got good power. I mean, last year with the Cubs, he played a lot. He played in 148 games, 440 at bats. He had 16 home runs. A couple years with the Cubs. He was Rookie of the Year back in 2009 with the Florida Marlins.
And the A's will honor two members of the '89 World Series team, Dave Henderson and Tony Phillips, who both passed away this offseason. But Tony Phillips, as we have talked about, one of the first to be the versatile player who gets 500 to 600 plate appearances for playing different positions. And a player like Chris Coghlan, who has that versatility, really helps a manager to be able to play so many different positions, especially late in the game when you're pinch hitting and moving guys around. I always like to look at Ben Zobrist, who made the All-Star team because of his versatility, and that's how All-Star games have changed, to have players play different positions if possible, and Zobrist was able to do that.
Also got him a $60 million deal.
Yes, yes, and a World Championship ring with the Royals last year.
And Broadway has come in and he's walked 3 straight hitters. So a big opportunity for the A's to extend their lead. But more on Chris Coghlan. He's 30 years old, Ray, so he's in the prime of his career, and he's a free agent after this year. So this is a big year for him. If he can prove that he can play around the diamond. We know he's got some pop in his bat. Well, he has a chance to do well for himself.
Yeah, he's got some grit in his play too. He loves to play, and he's a hard-nosed player, and that's something that A's will get to enjoy seeing him play probably a lot in the 2016 season. This young man who's coming up right now, fans going to get a chance to see him. Just turned 20, Franklin Barreto, and his idol, Miguel Cabrera. I want to be better than Miggy. The best hitter. One thing at a time. That's right. Best hitter in baseball. And I tell you, this young man was very impressive down in Arizona. Franklin Barreto, and a lot of comparisons to Miguel Tejada, who came up as a very young kid and playing shortstop as Barreto is.
He's 5'10", 190 pounds. Again, Ray just said, just 20 years old.
He's a baby.
This will be his 4th year in professional baseball. Probably started in Double-A.
Yeah.
The 20-year-old in Double-A is still pretty young.
That's right. He's going for the slam here. But what he did in the game, the A's were down 3 runs in the 9th inning down in Arizona at their home park in Mesa. And he settled down after a couple of strikes, hit a slider up the middle, base hit to center field to drive in 1 run. Went first and third on a base hit, scored on a shallow fly ball to tie the game. Something you had in Arizona in spring training, but not in regular season, called ties.
This one's popped up, and it's going to be playable. Grant Green has got it. So Barreto cannot get the job done. Big swing.
Mark Canha is going to pinch hit, but you know, these are little things that, just like Thursday night when Billy Burns led off with a triple against Jeff Samardzija and the A's didn't score, get the bases loaded. These are the times that the A's and Bob Melvin feels their offense going to be much better this year and score a lot of runs, but you have to take advantage of the wildness of a pitcher walking 3. Barreto could not get it done. The infield now plays back for a possible double play with Mark Canha as the hitter.
So Burns had 3 at-bats today. Towards short, not hit real hard, out at second, and that's a double play. So Broadway is able to work his way out of the jam after walking 3 to load the bases. So A's do not score. They lead 3-0 after 7. Shin guards off, chest protector tucked away, getting it clean for opening night. And he's going to join us downstairs. Stephen Vogt. Stephen, thanks for stopping by. Are you ready to go on Monday night?
Absolutely. It's been a long 7 weeks. We're happy to be back in Oakland. What a great crowd today. Beautiful day. We're ready to go. You know, we like where we're at right now, and so now it's go time.
Where are you right now? I mean, I know you've said that, but what do you see differently from this club? And unfortunately, you experienced a horrible season in 2015. But how positive are you about what you're seeing?
Oh, we like the depth. I mean, look at last year where we really got hurt was in our depth. In our bullpen, we've really improved. You know, on the field, we've got a lot more depth than we had last year. We really like where we're at defensively, offensively, and on the hill. So we say that every year at spring training, but this year we do feel a lot different about it.
And your spring training started a little late, but not anything that's going to hold you back. But do you feel like you're ready to go? And is the elbow close to 100% where it's not going to be something that's bothering you?
No, I feel, I mean, swinging wise, throwing wise, kind of everything. It's feeling really good. I like where I'm at. There's still some, you know, like with the cold weather coming up here, there's been a little bit of an adjustment, having to do some things in between innings just to stay warm. Other than that, it feels great, and I'm yeah, I feel 100% for sure.
Buddy, one of the things that you have commented about, I thought was impressive about the bullpen that's been revamped, and you said it's going to be great to have 95 coming out of the pen. Now, explain as a hitter what it means to you late in the game when the reliever comes in throwing 95, and as a catcher, knowing that the pitcher has that in his back pocket that he can use.
Yeah, well, first of all, on the offensive side, when a guy's throwing 95, you got to get your foot down and be ready. And a lot of times towards the end of the game, you know, guys, our legs are tired, especially as we get later into the season. And the thing is when guys are throwing 94, 95, the mistakes, we miss them still at the plate. When guys are throwing 91, 92, we don't miss those mistakes as often. And so as a catcher, having that weapon, I know I can call a fastball in almost every situation, and we can get the out.
That's great.
Eric Surkamp is our MVP today. Are you in agreement with us on that?
Yeah,
this guy's great.
He is. I hadn't caught him yet this spring, and you know, unfortunately, Felix had to come out early, but he's come in, and I love his tempo. I love the pitches he's been throwing. Through one bad changeup to Matt Duffy, who's the greatest hitter of all time against us, it seems like. So, you know, he's had a great day today. I really like his stuff and the way he works, and you know, he's looked really good this spring.
Now, Vody, you have to explain as a catcher, and you know, we got to watch you last year, and you took a beating, but I don't know how many people know you had the plate in your left foot from surgery, and I think kind of explain how it affected your throwing because of maybe something you had a favor and maybe contributed to your elbow, the chip in your elbow, and all those things factoring in because of what you had to go through the prior offseason.
Yeah, I definitely think the elbow is definitely a byproduct from the plate in the shoe. A lot of times, you know, when you can't get off your backside, what you tend to do is you tend to kind of drop your elbow just a little bit to try and get more on your throw, and you can't. I couldn't push off my backside, and so what that did is over time kind of drop my arm angle just a little bit to try and get more whip on the ball rather than staying on top and really trusting my legs with the throw. So for me, it really affected it, and I think that is what contributed to the bone chip, you know, breaking off in my elbow. Doctor said that bone spur had been in there probably for a while, but I'm sure you MRI any of us that have played this game for a while, we're going to have multiple spurs, but this one broke off and it was really painful. So I definitely think it had something to do with that plate, but you know what, now I'm a normal human being. I throw my shoes on in the morning and I don't have to worry about it.
But now you did explain also that you had to learn to throw over again as a catcher. Now explain that, because a catcher does have a different angle in which he throws a baseball, but how did you have to relearn, I guess, in a sense, to throw from a catcher standpoint?
Well, I really had to focus on getting my arm up, and sometimes you almost feel like you're throwing right over your head, but you know, the biggest thing as a catcher is having that four-seam rotation and making sure the ball isn't tailing or cutting. And so for me, I really just focused on getting back on top and really flicking my wrist and, you know, really keeping that quarterback arm stroke almost. You want to think about, I had a catching coach one time tell me that you want to think about you're throwing like a 3-yard slant as a quarterback. So 3-step drop, throw the ball real quick, and just that quick right over the top. And I really feel like I've gotten my rotation back.
Well, we've covered baseball. You just covered football. We thought it's important to cover basketball.
Hey.
I know you guys had a lot of fun today over at Oracle, and we've also been breaking down your free throw technique, which is not bad. I know your wife's a coach, so you know she probably is going to check this out as well. But just take us through your free throw shooting technique and how confident are you at the line late in a game situation?
You know, I trust myself. I want to be the one on the line. You know, I'm going to be the one trying to get the ball in the inbounds so they can foul me. I want it. You know, I'm a little inconsistent with my form, you know, but I really have confidence in my free throw ability. You know, you aim for the back of the rim,
and you hit the front.
And you hit the front every time. You get the roll. So, you know, my wife, she gives me a hard time because she thinks free throws are the easiest thing on the planet, and she's right, but you know, it's not so easy when you don't practice them very often. But we had a great time over there today. It was fun for us just to get in there and run around, and everybody's trying Steph Curry shots and Klay Thompson, and you know, those guys are so great what they're doing next door. They're fun to watch. So it's fun for us to go over there on their turf.
But you know, Reddick's never going to let you hear the end of what he did today.
Well, that's every day. Reddick's not going to let you hear the end of it. So that was pretty cool, though. I mean, you gotta admit, that was the only time he tried it too. So that was pretty special.
Now, we know you had a bobblehead last year as the official referee for the Athletics. Now, did you referee this workout this morning, or did you just participate?
I participated. I didn't dress up. I mean, I can't step foot on a basketball court and not make a few calls. So when guys were doing something they shouldn't be doing, you know, you had to let them know. But
do you have your whistle?
No, I went with all natural. You know, the coach's whistle. But no, it was awesome. It was fun to go over there, and we had a great time this morning.
That's good.
Could be two.
Turn that.
And they will. Yes. Stephen Vogt, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Have a
guys.
good year, buddy. All right.
All right. We'll see you Monday.
All right. Always great talking to Stephen Vogt. And again, Eric Surkamp is today's MVP. Here's our game summary today, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Not a lot of offense. 0-2-2 for the Giants, 3-3-1 for the A's. Couple of unearned runs for the Athletics and a Chris Davis home run. That all came in the third inning. Kane went 5. Little concern for the A's is the fact that Felix Dubron, who is scheduled to be their 5th starter, left after 17 pitches with just a little forearm tightness. So something to worry about for the next couple days. We hope Felix Dubron will be fine to make his first start of the year, which would be Friday in Seattle.
The one thing, the A's did not score but just one run in 2 games in San Francisco, 3 this afternoon, a couple of unearned. But if the A's can do what they did today, capitalize on a couple of errors, score some runs, but also get great pitching and defense, you're going to win a lot of games that way. But I think the A's are going to be expecting to score a lot more than what they've done in this 3-game series.
Chapman, first pitch, and that baby is gone. Maybe a future star in Matt Chapman. Not just yet, but he's getting close, right?
I don't think there's any doubt about this young man. Cal State Fullerton, #1 draft choice of the A's in 2014. And this is just April of 2016. And he just unloaded, as he did, 5 of them during the Cactus League, and crushed a fastball that was a no-doubter. Keipe was saying in San Francisco, the biggest crowd he'd ever played in front of was 12,000 at Cal State Fullerton in the college playing. He had 41,000 plus Thursday, 42,000 plus last night, 29,000 plus today.
Perfect.
And here he is playing like he's been in the big leagues 10 years. But what a cannon. He's third baseman. He can pick it at third, has a very strong arm. And his power, like we've talked about Chris Davis, is using the whole field. And he just pulled a fastball, but he's got excellent power to right field as well.
Chapman at Stockton last year was banged up. He only played in 80 games, but he hit 23 home runs.
No, he is definitely a future star, and probably seeing him here sooner than later. And maybe between Chapman, Beretta, Pinder, I mean, you've got a lot of guys. Olsen saw in spring training. Watch his swing. Fastball gone. Crushed.
And I think what you need from Chapman more than anything is just a nice full year in the big leagues where you get or in the minor leagues where you get 500 at bats,
just to play,
stay healthy, fight through slumps. Because there's enough there. There's a reason why he was #1 drafted.
But I mean, this is a strong swing. Lead kick, kept the bat back, and got the fastball. Terry Steinbach, who wore number 36 for the A's, had a lot of home runs. Definitely proud to have him wearing his number 36. And that was not a cheapie. That's way up in left field. You know, Keipe, we talk about it every spring, especially in the Bay Bridge series, when players who have never played at the major league level come to the Bay Area between San Francisco and here. Chapman said, I'd never played in a triple deck stadium, and saw it in San Francisco. And he said the depth perception, and that's what players experience when you get a huge stadium. You know, you just don't factor everything in, because in the minor leagues and college you're playing in a single or double, and now you get these big stadiums. It's totally different, but he has handled it well. Struck out in San Francisco today, much different.
J.P. Sportman getting an at-bat. If I said, what a great name for an athlete, I would be about the 1,500th person that has said that. And he rips one, headed for the corner, fair. The Sportman's going to have a double. Exhibition game or not, he'll remember that swing.
Well, it's a great experience, and regardless, I mean, a lot of these players know that their time in the big leagues is going to be here and over in San Francisco for 2 games. So yes, definitely enjoying every minute of it, because this is an experience they will never forget. It will help them whenever they continue their play at the minor league level, knowing that it is all about right here. And these young men are playing very well.
Here's Pinder. Pinder rolls and foul. There's quite a bit of talk down in Arizona about these young position players that the A's have. Not necessarily the fact that any of them are going to be playing in the big leagues this year, but the fact that they may be fairly soon.
Keith Lippman, who's the director of player development, talking glowingly about some of these young players. And you know, it's ideally if you could get them all playing together, you know, around the infield, and a very, very good group of young infielders to play. And of course, we're seeing them today. But some of them are younger than others, more experienced from playing college than others, but still a great group of young players coming up through the system. David Redenni's ready for the game on Monday night. He's ready for the weekend. Director of Stadium Operations for the Athletics. Wow. Ken Lackey. Wow. Made it for my birthday. See that, Keipe?
Nice. Now, what I would do, Ray, if I were you, is I would explain to our listening audience what you're talking about, because otherwise it's a little unclear.
Well, if Mike would turn the camera over here.
Names of people that we don't really know. We know David Renetti.
Well, David Renetti, we know. David just brought a nice plaque of a gentleman by the name of Ken Lackey.
I like it.
He just made this.
That is awesome.
For my birthday. It's my baseball card collection. This is a good one there.
That's our favorite. That's right.
George Woody Woodson and me on the rookie card. Wow, that's impressive, David. Very nice. Thank you, Mr. Lackey. Ken Lackey, founder, CEO, Cases Loaded LLC.
Huh.
It's very nice.
That is nice. That's a keeper there.
That is. It's very nice.
I like it.
Milwaukee.
I know you got 3 with the Brewers, 1 with a little, looks like a little
fro.
Yeah, maybe a little. Looks like you had a little work done.
A little.
It's all right.
Should have seen what it looked like in Venezuela after.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's very nicely done.
Yep.
John Lackey now with the Cubs. Great pitcher, and I don't know if there's any relationship between Mr. Lackey and Ken Lackey, but
well, the baseball card business has become so big with so many different kinds of cards. There's still something to be said about kind of just the old basic ones from the 70s.
Yeah. And you know what? All these cards, because they're from that era, you can actually use the Sharpie. There's not wax on them.
There's no wax.
You know?
That's right.
And
that's exactly right.
Sharpie or a pen. Yeah, very nice.
And you got the career stats in the back.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky enough, you got a stale piece of bubble gum in your pack.
Oh, but the bubble gum was good.
It was good. Runner goes, and Fegley rolls it foul. Fegley with his second at bat. Pretty good combination for the A's with Vogt and Fegley. And I think that unless you have a superstar catcher, having a couple guys that can produce is a very, very nice thing to have, and I think the A's have that.
Well, they complement each other, and they're friends. They locker beside each other. Steve Vucinich, head clubhouse manager, equipment manager, has them over in the corner. The only thing in between them is the lost and found locker. As Vogt says, that's our friend.
That's right.
But they're together. They go over the scouting reports together, as Kurt Young described earlier, and as Stephen Vogt said, nobody hits left-handers better than Josh Fegley, and Fegley says the same about Vogt when it comes to facing the righty. So they complement each other very, very well.
0-2 the count. Josh Osich is the pitcher for the Giants. Remember, Stephen Vogt was at the Comcast dinner you and I were at, and we were talking, and he said we have combined goals that we want to get to.
Sure.
Statistical goals. Hey, let's combine for 30 homers and 100 RBIs.
That's great production.
And why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And especially on a team that has that philosophy of using everybody. And Bob Melvin said, I've got 2 complete lineups that he can use at any time. And just thinking if he managed in an era where he only had 9 pitchers and 16 position players, unlike today where specialization in the bullpen was 7 relievers, 5 starters, but still he mixes and matches very well. And as he had a meeting with the players, telling them about the system, especially the new guys, and in-game changes, as we've seen, try to put players in a position to be successful, however, in whatever way it might be.
Well, if you're lucky enough to run the same lineup out there almost every day, good for you, but that doesn't happen very often.
No, it really doesn't. And it's nice to have the versatility of the players who can play the different positions, or basically hit righties if you're lefty, lefties if you're a righty.
Another foul ball. Good battle here. Sportman is the runner at second. He doubled after the Matt Chapman home run. That one's driven towards center. Hernandez, Gorkis Hernandez hustles back.
Fans, what's better than taking your family to the ballpark on a Friday night? With the Friday Family Pack, you get 4 Plaza level tickets, 4 Coliseum hot dogs, 4 medium sodas, and 4 bags of peanuts. And it's just $60 at every Friday home game. Buy now at athletics.com/family pack. Subject to availability. It's always a great deal. Friday night, no school on Saturday for the kids. There are some fireworks on Friday night, so that might be the subject to availability part. But check them out, because that is a great deal on Friday Family Pack. That's a great meal and great baseball to watch on Fridays.
I was thinking as I watched Coco Crisp step in for his second at bat, he hit for Butler, the DH. I don't think it's out of the question to think that Coco could see a little bit of time at DH this year.
Well, he did a great
swinging the bat well, and you want to get him in the lineup.
He did a great job last year coming off the bench, had the neck injury, but as a pinch hitter, excelled.
And quite frankly, it's probably why, even though it's only a couple of at-bats in the last exhibition game, it's probably the reason why Bob Melvin said, hey, let's get him a couple of at-bats in that DH spot, because it is a spot that can take a little adjusting.
Well, it definitely helps to be a switch hitter, because regardless what an opposing manager does with the bullpen, Coco can always play, because he does hit from both sides.
Coco hit it hard, but he's retired. A's get a run on the Matt Chapman long home run. So we are going to the 9th inning. A's 3 outs away from an exhibition victory as they lead 4-0. Check out the Chapman bomb.
With Rapid Deal Days presented by Bartable. We've heard a lot about what is Bartable. Well, this is Bartable. $5 tickets are available for select home games with this one-of-a-kind promotion. Visit athletics.com/Bart today, because these tickets will not last.
You say that like you really mean they're not going to last.
No, it's Bartable. I mean, you hear the...
there's no question in your mind that they're not going to last.
That's right.
That's a good salesman right there.
Yeah, Ryan Dull is pitching, and he's going to last a long time, because he can pitch, as Kurt Young described, and we saw. And you notice, if Dallaire, our great producer, had a picture to show from September, the hair is much shorter now than it was in September. Remember, he came up in very long hair.
Yeah. I mean, you looked at him in spring training, and at first glance, who is that?
Who is it? Yeah. but he said he just got tired of it, cut it, and he did a great job during spring training because there were some questions about with the revamped bullpen. 4 new veteran players, and then you had Francisco Rodriguez. There's Ryan Route 66.
Nice.
But
that's new.
You know, there was a possibility because he has options that he might not make the club. And as I mentioned with Felix DeBront in the rotation, Ryan Dull, who did an exceptional job, but you know, he said the right things. He said, I'm here to try to do my best, and I think he proved to everybody in September that he belongs here, and it looks like he's going to get to stay here, and very deserving.
But he pitched in 13 games last year, and his ERA was 4.2. So you're saying, well, that's not great, but he had there was a couple outings where he gave up 3 or 4 runs, but and again, I mean, he's pitching in September for the first time too. Right. But you could see that there's quite a bit there with Ryan Dull. 26 years old.
Route 66, that's a good one.
Facing Adrianza.
He's been working on that pitch, a changeup, and kind of floating it away from the left-hander. Does throw hard, good hard breaking pitch, good fastball sinker. And I think Kurt Young, his pitching coach, described him perfectly. Ice in his veins. And if you're a reliever, you have to be that way.
Yeah, and as you know better than I, Ray, but having ice in your veins doesn't necessarily mean you have to snarl on the mound and look mean and nasty and have a big bushy mustache. That doesn't always mean anything.
But Goose did quite well.
Well, Goose had it both.
Yeah.
Right. For Ryan Dull, he may not be physically intimidating, but he will come right at you.
Yeah, his pitching ability will definitely make him a very good reliever at this level.
3-2 is hit well to right. And Adrianza gets the Giants on the board here in the 9th inning with a 1-out home run, so it's 4-1. Adrianza's had a good spring for the Giants, and that continues.
And they try to go inside with a fastball, and the ball tailed right back to the heart of the plate, belt high. And when you have that kind of movement, maybe try to get him to pull a pitch that runs away. Instead, the ball stayed in the middle, and maybe they not get it in start far enough. But with the lead that the A's have, only the 3rd hit for the Giants, but it happens to be a big one to get them on the board.
So this is Blanco for his 2nd at bat. So Monday night, Sonny Gray, Chris Sale, terrific pitching matchup to start the season. If you can't be out here, join us on Comcast Sportsnet California. All of our coverage starts at 6 o'clock.
But if you can get here and you've never experienced an opening night game, you'll enjoy it, and you'll be back again in the future. It's kind of like going to spring training. If you've never been to the Cactus League and you go once, you'll make sure you go a number of more times. I think Josh Fegley, getting a little bit of extra time, took one on the left forearm. Ball was in the dirt with a couple of strikes, trying to block it.
One-two pitch, foul straight back. Giants will open up in Milwaukee. They'll have a day game on Monday at Miller Park. So if you're into that kind of thing, you could have a doubleheader on. That's right. Comcast, whether it be Bay Area or California, on Monday. Get your baseball season started. Drive to left. Coughlin back there. So Chris Coughlin's moving around today. He's now out in left field. So 2 away. And Grant Green will hit. Grant Green did not make the Giants roster, so he'll go to the minor leagues. Former #1 pick of the Athletics.
Number 17, Grant Green.
Spent some time in the big leagues with the Angels.
I think he joined the A's when the A's were in Pittsburgh a few years ago. And then traded.
Couldn't get him his first hit.
No.
I don't think he got it with the A's, did he?
No.
Got it with the Angels.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a fun year. We're looking forward to it. We hope the A's can bounce back after a difficult year last year. Seems like they've, at least on paper, made the changes they felt like they had to make to upgrade their club. It's not going to be an easy division. And that's going to do it. So Dole strikes out Green, and we can wrap up this exhibition season, put a bow on it, put it in a box, and tuck it away forever. Because we are ready for the real games, which will come your way on Monday. So the final score this afternoon at the Coliseum, it's the Athletics 4, it's the Giants 1. Ray and I will be back to wrap up this exhibition season right after this.